The crunch of metal hitting fiberglass still echoes in my head. It was the sound of a decade of sacrifice collapsing in one violent second. And all because a woman who thought she ran the world decided I didn't look rich enough to own a jet. I didn't even have time to yell before the tow arm punched straight into the nose of my plane, and the entire front end folded like a kicked-in door. That was the moment I realized some people don't just dislike you. They'll destroy what's yours just to prove they can. I'm Ethan Cole, and I'm not some millionaire CEO, not some legacy trust fund brat. I'm a software contractor, the kind who saves every dime, sells old gear, skips vacations, picks up late-night gigs because I had one stupid, stubborn dream to buy a used private jet and build a small charter business one day. And on that blistering morning at Crescent Valley Private Air Park, I was supposed to be living that dream. The air smelled like sunburnt asphalt and jet fuel, and honestly, that scent always felt like hope to me. I pulled up next to Hangar C-12, grabbed my overnight bag, and for 5 sweet seconds, I let myself smile. My jet sitting right where I left it, clean, real, and mine. 5 seconds. That's all I got before the universe sent me Mary Whitford. I heard her before I saw her. "Excuse me." A sharp voice, the kind that could slice a cardboard box in half. I turned around and there she was. Blonde bob, oversized sunglasses, clipboard hugged to her chest like a holy text, heels sinking into the tarmac. Her expression screamed, "I woke up today choosing violence." "You can't park that car here," she snapped, pointing at my sedan like it was contagious. I blinked. "It's a public lane. Everyone parks here." "Not you," she said, practically choking on the words. "We don't allow people like you in premium areas. People like me." I looked down, jeans, work boots, t-shirt, a little dusty from moving boxes earlier. Apparently that was grounds for exile. "I'm a hangar tenant," I said calmly. "I have a lease." Mary actually laughed. Not a nervous laugh. You're beneath me laugh. "Right. Sure you do. Tell your boss to handle paperwork next time." Then without another word, she stomped straight to the hangar door and started signing something on the documents taped to it. "Ma'am?" I said, stepping closer. "What exactly are you doing?" She didn't even look at me. "Removing unauthorized equipment." Equipment. She meant my jet. She spun the clipboard away when I tried to read it like a middle schooler guarding test answers. "You don't have the authority to alter my hangar contract," I warned. "Oh, I absolutely do," she said with a sugar-coated smile. "I'm the president of the Community Aviation Association. We decide who qualifies to keep aircraft on this property." "Qualified," she repeated like the word tasted good. Then she pointed at the jet behind me. "That is not yours." "It is," I said, pulling out my phone with the FAA registration and bill of sale. "Registered to me." She waved a hand like I'd shown her a doodle. "Cute. But I'll wait to hear it from someone important." My jaw tightened. I wasn't surprised, just exhausted. Some people don't need evidence. They only need a stereotype. Then she clicked her pen dramatically. "Don't worry, I've already requested removal." "Removal by who?" I asked. She smirked. "By them." Right on cue, a tow vehicle rumbled onto the tarmac. Loud, clanky dragging chains like bad intentions. The driver, Ron Jeffers, looked confused the moment he saw me standing next to my own plane. Mary, this the removal you asked for?" "Yes, Ron," she barked. "This aircraft is unauthorized. Remove it." Ron hesitated, squinting at the tail number. "This belonged to you?" he asked me. "Yes," I said, handing him the documents. Ron did what Mary refused to do. He actually read them. "These look legit, Mary. Everything checks out." She snapped. "He could have forged them." Ron shrugged. "FAA numbers don't lie. We can radio it in." "No," Mary barked, "removing it is faster. I'm not wasting time on some scammer pretending to be a pilot." "I never said I was a pilot," I reminded her. "I'm just the owner." "Exactly," she said. "People like you buy toys you don't understand." I felt something inside me drop. Not sadness, but a kind of hollow disbelief. Years of grinding through life, years of sacrifice, all dismissed because I didn't fit her picture of a jet owner. And the worst part, she believed her own delusion. Ron raised his hands. "Mary, this is a bad idea. I don't want to damage someone's property." "If you refuse," she snapped, "I'll file a report on you for violating CAA protocol." I stepped forward. "If you touch my aircraft, I'll call police and airport security. That's destruction of private property." Mary scoffed and slid her sunglasses down dramatically, like the police care about little liars wasting hangar space. As if summoned by irony itself, police sirens wailed at the airport gate. Mary straightened smug as a cat near a broken vase. Finally she muttered, "They can escort you out." Two officers approached, one young, one older, both looking like they already regretted their shift. The older one asked, "Who placed the call?" "I did," I said. "No, he didn't," Mary cut in. "I called. This man is trespassing and claiming an aircraft that clearly isn't his." "Do you have proof, ma'am?" the younger officer asked. "I don't need proof," she scoffed. "Look at him." The officers looked, then looked back at her. Their expressions didn't land where she wanted. I handed over the documents. They radioed in the tail number. 20 seconds later, the radio chirped back. "Registered to Ethan Cole." The younger officer nodded. "Everything's legitimate." Mary's face drained of color. "That can't be right." Ron tried again to intervene. "Mary, let's back off before..." Before he finished, she grabbed the tow lever herself and slammed it forward. The metal arm lurched like a battering ram. It smashed into the nose of my jet with a sickening crunch. The fiberglass folded inward, cracking deep, splintering like bone. Everything stopped. The tow engine rumbled uselessly. The air hissed out of the ruptured structure. Ron froze. The officers froze. Even Mary froze, just long enough to pretend she hadn't meant it. Ron shouted, "Mary, what did you just do?" She lifted her chin, though her voice cracked. "He shouldn't have parked it here. It's his fault." Something inside me hollowed out completely. I walked to the jet, tracing the cracked edge with my fingertips. That smell, fiberglass, and fuel should have been familiar, comforting. Today it tasted bitter. My dream wasn't gone, but it was wounded. The younger cop radioed FAA personnel because now it wasn't just a dispute. It was a federal incident. A black SUV rolled in, badges gleaming. Out stepped FAA agent Laura Ramirez, sharp eyes, quiet authority. She didn't look at me first. She looked at Mary. "Who authorized you to touch a federally registered aircraft?" "I run the HOA," Mary said proudly. "I enforce property regulations. The aircraft was illegal." "The FAA doesn't recognize homeowner associations as aviation authorities," Ramirez replied flatly. Ron whispered, "Thank God someone said it." Agent Ramirez inspected the damage, tapped the cracked fiberglass, listened to the dull thud. Her expression shifted from neutral to stern. "This is not minor. You compromised avionics and internal structure. This aircraft may be grounded permanently." Mary stammered, "No, you're exaggerating. I barely touched it." "Ma'am," the older officer said, "you're now facing felony property destruction." This time, Mary's confidence evaporated completely. Her shoulders shook. Her eyes darted around. The crowd neighbors Mary must have summoned had gathered and were now filming, but not the villain she expected. She pointed at me, desperate. "You can fix it, right? Tell them you can fix it." Before I could speak, Agent Ramirez asked me quietly, "Sir, do you want to press full charges?" For a moment I felt nothing. No anger, no triumph, no vengeance. Just the weight of 10 years of sacrifice hanging over the wrecked nose of a dream. Then I breathed out, "Yes, I want everything documented." Mary's face broke. "You're going to ruin me over a misunderstanding." I didn't yell. I didn't gloat. I just said the truth. "You did this to yourself." The officers cuffed her. She struggled, insisting she was protecting property values, insisting I didn't fit the image, insisting she was right. But nobody believed her anymore. Not even her own reflection, probably. As they escorted her to the cruiser, Ron touched my shoulder. "She'll pay for it, every bit of it. And I'm sorry, kid. I tried." I nodded, looking at the cracked fuselage under the fading sun. The pain was still there, but beneath it was something stronger. Resolve. Clarity. They drove Mary away. Her reign as self-appointed queen of the air park ended right there, with every camera recording the downfall she orchestrated herself. I stood by my jet, touching the damaged nose one more time. It wasn't the end, just another repair, another step, another test of how far I was willing to go to protect what I'd built. Some people try to destroy what's yours because they can't stand the idea that someone like you could rise, but the sky belongs to anyone willing to fight for it. And that's the lesson. Never let someone else decide what you're allowed to dream.